Silkies is Black Silk, and it's been a while since you actually see my face and I've made a new video. I've been trying to update things and post things, and it's mostly been like rehashing old stuff that I've had in the past. But anyway, this video was requested, so this is exactly why I'm making this video. Quite a few of you had requested that I don't do this video, and more of you requested that I do this video. You're still gonna hear a bit of background noise because I'm still working on my new setup, and it's been kind of complicated, so I'm kind of moving things around. My background's different, so you can see that as well. But anyway, I wanted to review the movie Scoob, and Scoob just came out recently, and I saw it with my kids. And I was originally going to see it in theaters, and we talked about it the last time I went to movie theaters, and we weren't expecting to see it through digital means. So I'm going to go down my list. I don't have a lot to say about this. I tried my best to come up with things to say about this movie, but honestly, and a lot of people will say the same thing, there wasn't much to talk about, especially as an adult. I mean, it had elements of adult humor in there as well, but it's just kind of like, it didn't catch my interest. And as an adult, I still enjoy family movies as well as my kids, and this honestly was something that didn't catch my attention very much. So we chose to rent it. You can rent it or buy it online, several places, and I'm glad we chose to rent it instead of actually buying it, because I was thinking, like, am I gonna actually like this movie? Is it worth buying and keeping? And personally, it's not something I really want to watch again. I did try to watch it more than once just for this review, and I found myself like losing interest really fast. So I think the first time was enough, and I'm going to go through my list of things that I thought about the movie. Okay. So what I'm going to say is, I am a Scooby-Doo fan. I've been a Scooby-Doo fan for a few years, and well, most of my life, because Scooby-Doo has been around since the 70s, so it was before my time. But I love watching the old Scooby-Doo, and then they started making different versions, you know, over the years. And What's New Scooby-Doo is one that I've been binging on. I've seen pretty much every episode of that. All the episodes of the old one. I think most of the movies, there might be maybe one or two I haven't seen yet, or I just don't remember, but I've pretty much seen almost everything Scooby-Doo. And for me, this kind of like was good nostalgia, but at the same time it was something totally different. I'm like, they started with a good concept in the beginning, you know, how they were kids, they were solving mysteries, which was a little weird because I'm used to seeing them as teenagers, but they meet as kids and start their mystery solving there. So I'm like, okay, so they started young and they do the same bullshit over and over to their teenagers or early 20s or whatever. I thought the backstory with Scoob and Shaggy was adorable. How they were both lonely and kind of needed each other, and that friendship was formed, that bond was formed, and I enjoyed that. I thought it was cute in the beginning, and then it just kind of wore off as the movie went on. I forgot to say this in the beginning, but there's going to be a little bit of spoilers, but with this type of movie, it's not really, not going to hurt you too much. I'm like, because I don't remember every single detail, because I only saw it once, and there's always things you can catch in a movie, and it's going to be light spoilers in this one, so I'm just letting you guys know. Okay, so they had Simon Cowell in this movie. I wasn't expecting that. That's a light spoiler, because it might be in the trailer. I don't know, I can't remember the trailers. And he just feels so out of place, and I feel like it was forced in there. Like, it could have been anybody, but they had to put him there. And it's so old saying that Simon Cowell is such a bad guy, because it's obviously an act, and he's just like really critical. It just seeing him in this movie just kind of fell out of place. I didn't like him in this movie. He's not one of my favorite people. Not just because he's a judge for stuff, but it's just kind of like, I never got the hype over him, besides him being just an asshole, like Gordon Ramsay. But other than that, I just didn't see the point of him in there. So I think they were just trying to force him in there. I noticed a lot of Hanna-Barbera references in this movie that I totally forgot about, because mostly like Hanna-Barbera usually focuses more on Scooby-Doo. From my experience, from what I've seen. I mean, they show other stuff so periodically, but if you watch stuff like Boomerang, there's always stuff with Scooby-Doo. Always. Okay, this is a little bit of a spoiler. Dick Dastardly is in the movie, and I thought personally the argument between him and Scooby-Doo was really hilarious, because he kept saying, "Is Dick?" And then Shaggy was like, "Is Rick? No, it's Dick." And I was just like, why is this in this movie? But it's still funny because it's a little bit of adult humor, but for some kids it might just kind of slip under the radar and they just don't really notice it too much. Okay, so literally nobody had mentioned this at all in their reviews. I've looked at a few reviews just to see if anybody actually had anything positive to say about the movie. It's pretty much the same, but no one mentioned this, that the minion, or the robotic minions, kind of reminded me a bit of Minions and Despicable Me. No relation, doesn't physically look the same, it's just, I thought about that. I just thought they were physically, just a personality, because like the Minions and Despicable Me had personality, and then like the little robots, they're little, and they basically do whatever he wants, and there's a whole bunch of them. It just reminded me of Despicable Me. Of course, I think he treats his minions a bit better, honestly. Like, he put like a vacuum head on one of the minions and took him apart, and didn't really care about him too much. So yeah, that's the difference there. I wanted to point out that a lot of people actually complain about Shaggy's voice a lot, and I noticed the difference. I looked over again. The first time I didn't really care, and I looked over it again and I listened really closely, and I'm like, yeah, they tried. I don't know why they switched up a lot of the actors, voice actors. I'm like, other actors can do just as good. Like, they completely wanted to change everything. I think the voice acting was okay. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm a huge fan of Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo sounded the same, but everyone else is a little bit different, and because it's a big production, I figured, okay, yeah, not too bad. Understandable if they would switch it up, but I didn't really hate it too much. There were some points where Shaggy's voice, you can definitely tell that it was changed, and it didn't bother me that much. I'm not that anal about voice acting unless it's drastically, like, really, really bad. So the movie, to me, was more action-packed versus an actual mystery. And we're so used to the mystery going on and on. You find the bad guy, they unmask the bad guy. Is this person like, oh, was this person? And just like, oh, would have got away if it wasn't for you meddling kids. And honestly, as a fan, I expected it to happen, and it got old. Honestly, a lot of people didn't like that it wasn't mostly a mystery. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind the action parts. I didn't mind it at all, honestly. A lot of the Scooby-Doo movie was modernized as well, like music and stuff. The timelines are a bit confusing, especially like in the beginning. You think it's like, I thought it was like the 80s, and then some people thought it was the 90s because of the music playing. And then they had like a cell phone in the beginning, or smartphone, and I'm like, okay. So those little things that you don't really notice, but they should pay attention to, because people will pick that apart. You gotta pay attention to little details like that. I think it was too modernized. Like, they made references to like apps and stuff like Tinder. They were saying like you thought the app for Tinder was for getting firewood or something like that. There's a lot of modern references, and I understand, because they want to keep kids interested in the movie, so they throw those things in there. So I give rating this movie a 2 kids uninterested out of 3. Like, literally, two of my kids had just walked away from the movie and were not interested in it whatsoever. And they like watching Scooby-Doo. They really do. And the only one I was interested was the youngest, which wasn't for the full movie. So that says a lot. They like sitting through movies with me, and they like Scooby-Doo, and so do I. But most of us just kind of walked away from it and just kind of let it play in the background. Cool action sequences, good references. But other than that, it's just not something that really caught my interest. So let me know what you thought about the movie down below in the comments, if you rented it or bought it, and what do you think about watching big movies on your phone or computer digitally. Thanks for watching, Silkies. Like and subscribe for more videos.